Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Ron Prosor. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with me. We received news late this evening that Lieutenant Hadar Golden is dead. How do you know he is dead, and what exactly do you know about it?
First, this is tragic. Secondly, you know that in the Jewish tradition, until we decide to say something like this, we have evidence. Because of the sensitivity, I don't want to go into it now, but I'm sure at the later stage, all the details will be out on this.
Do you have his remains in Israeli custody, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, that's why I said it's sensitive, but there is a clear statement on this, and believe me, as you know, in the past, we are very, very, very careful in making statements like that. So
I totally respect that, Mr. Ambassador. May we now assume, now that that issue is resolved, this is the death, the ambush, the capture, the alleged capture of Lieutenant Golden that shattered the 72-hour ceasefire that Secretary Kerry and others had negotiated. So it's very critical to know, will Israel now, as the Prime Minister alluded earlier this evening, begin winding down military operations in Gaza?
Well, the Prime Minister was very clear. We're redeploying, making sure that we get the terror tunnels. And by the way, if I may say that, you know, a bit with the terror tunnels, I have a feeling that some in the international community have a tunnel vision of the terror tunnels. Hence, you know, narrow, blaming Israel for everything, and not allowing Hamas to really, ones that are using those terror tunnels against Israeli communities, kibbutzim. So we're redeploying, but we'll keep on making sure that the tunnels are out and continue with against the infrastructure, military infrastructure of Hamas.
But that's not the same thing. You say the terror tunnels are almost finished, but you're going to keep going against the Hamas infrastructure. Does that mean the violence in Gaza continues?
It's like you saw. From our point of view, we said yes to 7 ceasefires. We want to end this. Equation is quite simple. If it's going to be quiet in Israel, it's going to be quiet in Gaza. So we are redeploying, and we're doing it unilaterally.
I want you to stay, I hate to be nitpicking. Yeah. Are you saying that if Hamas stops firing rockets, Israel will stop firing into Gaza?
Absolutely.
So there will be a de facto ceasefire if Hamas stops the rocket firing?
Well, we, like you, the answer is yes. 72 hours, all 7 ceasefires Israel said yes to, Hamas broke. They have this interesting notion of a ceasefire. We seize and they fire. So if they change...
You cease, they fire.
That's true.
Do you worry about, I mentioned it with Mark Regev, this worldwide hatred directed to Israel?
Of course, but in the sense you say to yourself, what can we do? We disengaged out of Gaza when I headed the Israeli Foreign Service. We opened Gaza. We left greenhouses that they burned to the ground. We wanted Gaza to become Singapore. We have nothing against the Palestinian people, but we have a real problem with a terrorist organization which goes beyond just this. This is jihadist. You see that effect all over the Arab world. You see it in Syria, in Iraq. Those guys have a mission, and the mission goes to destroy not just Israel, but everything that they feel goes against their ideology, which is destruction and death.
Mr. Ambassador, I wish we could have a meeting one day where we'll say that all this is behind us. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you.